খানিকটা সভ্যতার যেমন ভালো দিক আছে তেমন তো খারাপ দিকও আছে। সেই আজকে খানিকটা আমাদের সেই খারাপ দিকটা দেখতে হচ্ছে। তবে জিতু কৃষ্ণমূর্তির শিক্ষা থেকেই, এই দর্শন থেকেই শিক্ষা নিয়ে ধৈর্য ধরে সকলেই যে একসাথে সমবেত হয়ে বসে থাকা এবং পরবর্তী অনুষ্ঠানের দিকে এগিয়ে যাওয়া, অনুষ্ঠানটাকে আরেকটু সামনের দিকে এগিয়ে নিয়ে যাওয়ার যে প্রয়াস, সেটা আমরা জারি রাখছি। সুদেশনা নামের একটা অসামান্য বক্তব্য। জিতু কৃষ্ণমূর্তি আমরা বইয়ের পাতায় যেটুকু পড়েছি ওতে বোঝা যায় না ওনাকে। এই যে একটা ডায়ালগের কথা বলছেন, কনভারসেশন, ডায়ালগ, এই জায়গাটা বা এই সময়ে দাঁড়িয়ে যে প্রাসঙ্গিকতাটা, এই যে আমাদের চেতনার বিপর্যয় প্রতি মুহূর্তে ঘটে যাচ্ছে, প্রকৃতি থেকে বিচ্ছিন্ন হচ্ছি, আমার ভেতরের মানুষটাকে মেরে ফেলছি। এই যে সাম্প্রতিক একদম স্যারও বললেন ব্লু হোয়েল গেমের কথা, মনে হচ্ছে খুব প্রাসঙ্গিক। জিতু কৃষ্ণমূর্তি এই সময় দাঁড়িয়ে তার প্রাসঙ্গিকতাটাকে আরো ভালোভাবে আমরা উপলব্ধি করতে পারছি। যাদের সক্রিয় সহযোগিতা ছাড়া জিতু কৃষ্ণমূর্তিকে এভাবে জানার সুযোগটাই হয়তো হতো না। সেই সংস্থার সম্পর্কেও আমাদের একটা কিছু জেনে নেওয়ার একটা দায়বদ্ধতা রয়েছে। সেই সংস্থার পক্ষ থেকে শ্রী কমল থাকার আমাদের কৃষ্ণমূর্তি ফাউন্ডেশন অফ ইন্ডিয়া সম্পর্কে সংক্ষেপে কিছু বলবেন।
I just want to thank Dr. Saha for this opportunity, and I hope it is only the starting point of this connection between us and all of you, because as much as he felt overjoyed by having us here, we felt even more overjoyed, because we often interact with teachers and universities elsewhere, and not everybody shares the same enthusiasm. So there is clearly some reason to feel very happy about the fact that we have been able to come here. I also want to thank Professor Patel, because I think we were all delighted to hear him. And the way he spoke about Krishnamurti and problems that are there in understanding, or sort of, even though philosophy is so relevant and deep, even then people do say that it is very deep, or what is he saying? This problem is there. And he points out, I think, a genuine problem, that there is a responsibility on all of us to try and make sure that this understanding happens. In fact, recently we had a program at Bharatiya Bhasha Parishad. We had a talk by somebody called Swami Chidanand, and the title was Grappling with the Teachings of J. Krishnamurti. And because he is somebody who has done a lot of work in investigating into Swami Chinmayanand and Vedanta, Upanishads, etc. And at one point, he got a very deep connection with J. Krishnamurti. And thereafter, he went to settle down in Banaras, and he was there with the Krishnamurti Foundation for about 10 years. So it's something that program itself, we have got it on video. And first thing I will do today is send it to Professor Saha and to Professor Patel and to others, so that it's available to everybody. And because it's an interaction, just 1 hour interaction, in which that gentleman takes us through the common questions that people have on Krishnamurti's approach to education. When we were getting ready for this program, one of the things that we were compelled to do ourselves is to think about what is the difference between what Krishnamurti says about education and what is commonly understood in society. Because sometimes we are very involved with the day-to-day things in organization, so we lose track ourselves. So when we were going through this, we came upon this interesting proposition that maybe the difference is that in modern society, education is about exams, knowledge, getting a good job, position, power, all the things. And everything else is incidental. If I get, a little bit of good values, it is okay. But main things are all these. And Krishnamurti says that the primary purpose of education is inquiry into truth, is to awaken your intelligence, to awaken this whole understanding of what I am, what humanity is, and everything else is incidental. So knowledge is there, knowledge has got its place, but the primary issue is psychological. That is psyche bola jai. That is finding out what is it that I am comprised of, my anger, my frustrations. That is what I am actually. So the discovery and exploration into that is what education is all about. And knowledge, yes, is definitely what it is, but it's not the primary purpose of education. So I think from this we can understand how big the gap is. And it is not surprising that we find it difficult to bridge that gap. But that gap I think we must bridge. And particularly for students of education who are now here as students, but potentially you are educators also. I think it is all the more reason, because if ever there is a chance of a new mind coming into being, a new mind meaning a mind that is the future generation or the next generation which is not involved in power and amar or tomar, this my or mera business. If ever such a generation is to come in being, it is only possible through right education and therefore through the right educator also. So there is a very nice booklet here which you will see outside, where Krishnaji has talked about educating the educator. It's a small booklet and I think it is something that is worth reading, because he says that the educator deserves to be educated. He is the one that should be educated. So we are actually really delighted in that sense to be here, because it gives us an opportunity to interact with all of you and build a foundation. A lot of ideas that Dr. Saha has in mind, and thanks to people like Dr. Patel, Professor Patel, that we have to actually build on this sort of foundation that we have started today. I wanted to share with you also something that it's a small story, but it may help. There was a well-known scientist called Francis Capra. Some of you may have heard of him. He was a very famous scientist. And he would often go to the talks of J. Krishnamurti, and Krishnamurti used to talk about all these things, about going beyond thought, and all these other things that were there, as you will see in the slides that we had. And Capra was very confused, because he said that, how is it possible for me to be a good scientist if he says all these things, go beyond thought, etc., etc. How is it possible? So he went home and he started discussing with his wife that I could not understand. What is he saying? What is his intention? How is it possible? So next day he had a chance to meet Krishnamurti personally, and he told him. And he told him only one thing. And what he told him is that if you realize that you are first a human being, after that you are a scientist. That means your being a scientist is within this whole circle of humanity, of God being a human being. Then he said all your problems will be solved. Of course, they were not solved immediately, but he went back home and he talked to his wife. And then after a day, he said he understood everything. What he meant was, what he had understood was that as a scientist, he will not be able to use that knowledge destructively. It will always be a human element of compassion, care that will be in the forefront. And the knowledge is there, he will use it for that purpose. Now you can apply that in the same way as, say for example, a physician or a doctor. A doctor who thinks like that I am a human being first, he will never be greedy. He will be always looking, okay, I have to charge some fees, but my job is the patient, my understanding is that. So that is the importance of education. So whichever field the child may eventually opt for, whichever, whether it's a scientist or a doctor or a teacher, the important thing is that he will always function within the domain of being a good human being. So the significance of Krishnamurti lies in actually unearthing or making that situation come about where the educator is able to understand first that, oh, this is so beautiful. It has to happen this way. How is it that I cannot understand this? And in the process, his or her whole approach to education will change, take a complete change. So it is not going to happen overnight because the understanding might take a little while to happen. But if you remember the story of Francis Capra, perhaps it may help to actually make it very simple and say, okay, I can get some understanding of what this is. Professor Patel mentioned about history, and sometimes, teachers of history used to ask Krishnaji, is that, how do you think we should teach history? And he would always actually tell them that, whenever you are teaching, please remember it's not a matter of just information. What happened 300 years ago when a greedy king killed somebody, you understand that you are the same person. So you go into that element. So even while you are narrating history, try to get the child to understand that you are not different from that person. All the communal things that happened, say, 20 years ago, relate to yourself. Are you free from communal feelings? And as we see very often in society, we have these problems of communal feelings. So he would always direct the teacher to relate that, not to a passing of information, but to an understanding of the fact that I and that person about whom we are reading is not different. And therefore it makes it interesting for the student also. So that is one thing. I just want to say a little bit about the things that we have circulated. Most of you have received that. It's basically a text, a transcript of a video. When somebody asks Krishnamurti, what is right education? So in that video, whatever was there in the video, the transcript of that we have distributed to you today. And also you will find, there is a yellow sheet, which is the address of our center, where we have a good library. And later on when we communicate with Dr. Saha and we will for the next program, all of you will be welcome to actually visit the center, use our library, start building this connection. Believe me, you will not regret the connection. This is not about some theoretical thing, about another theoretical approach. It is about life. That is why you will never ever regret it. That's why when Professor Patel mentioned about the connection that he felt, what else can be more important than something that is to do with your life itself? The inquiry into truth. And whether or not, there is a particular grammatical word, this is right or that is right, it's good, important, knowledge-wise that is important. But at the end of the day, it is something to do with our own life. So that is what makes Krishnamurti very relevant. So the other thing that I wanted to just share, I had actually, in fact, in our interactions together at the center, we had gone through some of the things that are vital for anybody who is interested to understand Krishnamurti. And some of the things are covered actually when Sudeshna talked about it. In fact, they were covered also when Rajeshji covered a few things and when Professor Patel also covered. But some of the other cornerstones is that presently, education we look at as separate from living. These are the, we look at it separate. Education alada, our life alada. There is no connection. But Krishnaji would say that that is not so at all. If anything, he would question what you are putting as the highlight as the education, is that the living is much more important. And the right education is living. So there is a very nice book, again you will see it outside, which is Education and the Significance of Life. So the moment you understand that they are not separate, then immediately you have connected with something. You will say that, what does he mean by that? And then it will start the process of inquiry. So this is one very important cornerstone. And Sudeshna also mentioned about conditioning. Now, one of the things that, it's so vital, I'm sure it came across during that talk also, is that we are generally all conditioned. As a parent, I am conditioned. As a teacher, I am conditioned. If I hate Muslims or if I hate Hindus, whatever it is, I make sure that my child also understands that. Or if I have a certain dislike for something or a like for something, my prejudice and my bias is my condition. Now, Krishnaji would demand that if you are an educator, the first thing you must be is to be free yourself. Nijeshwar to be free now. If you are not free yourself, it's impossible to allow the child to communicate with freedom. So this is something also, the second part that is very important, is that you cannot be a good educator if you are conditioned. That means if I am myself, I am holding very strong likes and dislikes, lots of prejudices of various sorts. It's impossible to be a good educator. So this is something that you may wish to explore because you are all potential educators. And the third thing is, we have a very wrong understanding of religious spirit. Whenever we talk about religion, we talk about all the things that are going on today, about conflict and all these sort of things. Now for Krishnamurti, the religious mind is not a mind that is a Hindu mind or a Muslim mind or whatever. It is a mind that is passionately concerned with the truth. Sottotaki. That is all. And he said that having a religious mind is absolutely crucial for education. Now again, it's worth exploring. Very short time, it's very difficult. But it seems a bit contrary. But as you can understand, the way he meant a religious mind is a mind that is totally free to inquire. Amar no conditioning, I have no preconditioned bias and prejudice, etc. And that is what he called religious spirit. And why that is so important for education is something that is also worth exploring. And many people in this time used to accuse him of being an atheist and somebody who did not believe in God, etc. Because very often he used to make statements like that your God is your creation. Your God is your creation. You have created some of these things. But you have not broken out of the shackles of your own conditioning to inquire further into what is the truth. So that is one more thing I wanted to mention. The other thing is, and this is a bit difficult at this point, it seems philosophical, but it's very, very important. As an educator, it's absolutely critical. And that is what he called observation, as Professor Patel touched on it, pure observation or perception. Very often, you will notice that we are not able to see what is. For example, if I think that so-and-so person is a bad person, for example, for some reason I have got this perception. That is all I will see. I cannot see what is, because it is being seen through the prism of my own condition. Again, he said that an educator cannot be a good educator unless he or she herself develops that capacity for pure observation, for seeing what is. So, if there is a chair, that is a mic, it is there. But when I add different sort of psychological dimensions to it, depending on my likes and dislikes, that is what he calls, conditioning, interfering with seeing. And in a sense, putting in Bangla, I am not very good in Bengali because it's not my first language. I am Gujarati actually. So he would say that Sottotake dekhai actual action. So the Sottotake dekha jai, exactly how it is. That is action. You don't need to do anything. Kichu kora dorkar nahi. Half the time our problem is our Sottota dekhte hi pai. That's the problem. So seeing things as they are, that is very important. And another thing that again I think it was touched briefly in Suresh talk is that knowledge. He would divide this into two types of knowledge. One is the knowledge that is very factual knowledge. you know, for example, Rajesh sir talked about certain approaches to education, etc. So and so approaches like this, etc. Those are certain kinds of knowledge. Or scientific knowledge, there is a whole body of knowledge, that is knowledge. So what he said was that knowledge has got its place. That knowledge has got its place. For a doctor also, that knowledge has its place. And his knowledge of being a physician has got its place. But what he said was the psychological knowledge, যেটা আমরা continuously record করি, মানে for example, depending on experiences and all, we add a lot of psychological knowledge. And that becomes a body of knowledge that is absolutely useless. It's basically destructive. So again, he urged people to explore what sort of knowledge is actually something that you feel is really relevant. In certain spheres, knowledge is relevant. But the psychological knowledge, or that is used in a different way, knowledge, that becomes a burden. Again, it is something that the educator must explore, because the educator is trying to tell the children about what are the dangers of recording. Now today I am nearly 70 years old, I am almost 70 years of age. And I believe that throughout my life, I have burdened myself with so much of rubbish. Rubbish meaning, I am talking psychologically speaking. Void, anxiety, stress, so many things, which I can see myself that they are there. But what has happened? For a long time, it has been allowed to accumulate. And ultimately, if you ask yourself, what am I? I am that. I am nothing else but that accumulation. That's another thing that Vishnu says. That regarding Shobto or Bhagavan or Sachidanand, etc., you don't have to do a thing. It is there, it is truth, it is pure. The problem is all this, what you have accumulated. And question whether that is you or not. Again, he is asking the question to be explored actually further. So, I just mentioned some of these things because they were perhaps just to add to what Sudeshka had communicated. So luckily I was almost through when the power went off. So good signal. So just wanted to say two things. One is if you have any questions or interactions, please don't hesitate to talk to anybody actually. And though I cannot speak formally in Bangla, but otherwise I can communicate in Bangla. But my colleagues here, friends are all very much Bengali speaking. Even I am also Bengali speaking. So though I am Gujarati, I've been here for 45-50 years plus. So no issue. And the second thing is, just to tell you a little bit about the program that we will have after the break. Now we're going to have the break first. After the break, we will be screening a video. It's only 30 minutes. We kept it a bit short because sometimes the span of attention is very difficult to contain over a long period of time. But this video is Krishnamurti talking to children in Rishi Valley School. This is where this conversation will happen. And you will find it very interesting. That conversation is very interesting. Because for you, as I said, you are educators and students both. And the other thing is that particular video transcript or the booklet of that is what we have just distributed. The yellow one. Tomar Onturni Monke Avshkar. I think that one. That booklet is actually the Bangla version of that video which you will see after this. So with that invitation, please don't restrict your interaction only now. Please, any time afterwards also, please continue the interaction with questions.